Breaking news moments ago, NBC reporting that law enforcement is expected to release a surveillance photo of a potential subject in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. That's according to two senior law enforcement officials. And a federal source has confirmed the NBC reporting to Fox Digital. Now, all of this comes with Josh Ritter on the ground in Tucson. And he's a former prosecutor. You know him well. He has spent 20 years working on major trials. And Josh, to set the context for our audience, we know that the police were poring over street cameras at a gas station. We know that a camera inside Nancy's home at 147 detected a person, but that footage was not saved, is what we know now. And now we're about to get a photo. So something bared fruit. But they use the term subject, not suspect. Could you explain the difference in that to our audience?
Yeah, great question. Subject, I think, is you could use it synonymously with a person of interest. In other words, this is someone that they think either might be connected to the crime or at least have more information about the crime. In other words, this is probably an individual that they found in the area around the time that they're concerned with, but there's not other corroborating information enough for them to believe that this person is, in fact, at this moment involved in the crime, enough for them to call them a suspect. This is all very interesting, too, because I think what we're going to find in this case is that the evidence that is going to lead to a capture here, to a lead here, is going to come from evidence that they already have in their possession. They've collected, like you said, surveillance cameras from the surrounding area, from surrounding gas stations, from her home. They also have cell phone towers that they've collected data from. And now it's a matter of just searching through all of that data, that haystack of ones and zeros, and trying to find that bit of information that's going to help move this case forward. And this photo might be the beginning of that.
And they had about 100 tips. That was at the end of last week. So putting out a photo like this, there's strategy in that. You're trying to get extra tips that come in that maybe push the investigation forward, Martha.
So, Josh, we heard this statement yesterday from Savannah Guthrie and asking for everyone's help. So now it feels as though there may be some coordination between those two things where, you know, they're casting this wide net. We know billboards have gone up in certain areas. Do you think these things are tied together? Now we'll get the picture and the hopes that somebody out there can tie some of these together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're tied together in the sense that the direction the investigation seems to be going is much more about the crime scene itself and less about these ransom notes. My feeling, we've got no confirmation from law enforcement. My feeling, just in hearing the developments in the last few hours, is that they don't believe those ransom notes are legitimate. And even her statement didn't address the ransom, wasn't speaking to the ransomers for the first time. They're looking for the public's help because I think what we're going to find is that they've got some information, but they need to crowdsource that with as many people as possible to turn a small lead into hopefully something fruitful.
And Emily, we know the FBI has said there's no suspect. So this is a subject, and hopefully it bears some sort of information that could lead to a subject.
Absolutely. And I assume that they will use, Joshua, AI or some type of programming to assist in the identification of the subject. What are you hearing or what have you observed in terms of traditionally investigations, start close to the victim and then move out? But obviously this started out as an abduction and, whether it's morphed, we don't know officially. My point is it your understanding that everyone who came in contact regularly with Mrs. Guthrie has been interviewed at length for information as they broaden that circle to sort of capture and collect any bit of information whatsoever within the community that Mrs. Guthrie resided in? What have you learned about that, Josh?
No, you're absolutely right. They start with a small circle, work their way out to anybody who may have had contact with her, certainly around the time frame that they're concerned with, and anyone that might have been inside of that house. We've also learned that they are performing buccal swabs. These are DNA swabs inside of someone's cheek to determine and with this, I think where we can go with this is that they must have DNA that has not matched with any known sample that they have. And so they're now trying to gather other samples to rule those people out. In other words, if there's someone who had a legitimate reason for being inside of her home and they've got that DNA, they need to rule that out as a potential. But if all of these people submit DNA and it comes back to no one and it remains unidentified, then that's a sample that you start to run through CODIS. That's a sample that you might work with IgG technology to try to figure out who that person is, because you can't give an innocent explanation for who that is.
In the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, viewers can see this is just one intersection. You see 5 cameras that are circled there. And when you think this crime was reportedly committed sometime around 2 a.m., there are very few people on the street in Tucson, Kennedy. So these cameras, they're huge.
Yes. And one of the things that has struck me about this, Josh, is the amount of law enforcement presence and the amount of federal and local law enforcement that has been committed to this case. So aside from the abduction and what might have happened to Nancy Guthrie that we don't know right now, what kind of trouble, what kind of charges could someone face based on the amount of man hours that have gone into this investigation?
Well, I think you could easily see this go federally. Certainly, if the person who abducted her is somehow connected to that ransom still. We don't know. We don't have an answer on that either way. But if they are, then you're talking about the use of the internet. That's going to give you federal jurisdiction. If any kind of crossing of state lines took place in the commission of this crime, that could give you federal jurisdiction. But even on a state level, you're looking at a kidnapping that may be attendant to a more serious crime like murder. I pray not, but you're looking at as serious a crime as you could possibly get in the state of Arizona, and certainly federally as well.
And Professor Yu, I mean, this is a big moment that we could have a picture of a subject. You said at the top of the hour, look, they have more than we know, and indeed they do. And this afternoon is the timeline we've been given on that.
Yeah, I think Josh is right that this shows they're putting aside the idea of the ransom, because if you were really negotiating with someone to hand someone over and keep a deal, the last thing you would do is throw a picture up of them. This makes it less likely you'll get cooperation from any kind of real kidnapper who's interested in a ransom. It does seem like it's turning now finally to become a standard assault, violent crime investigation. And what I want to ask is, we know what the playbook is. Now they're making an appeal to the public to try to gather more data. What is next in the federal investigatory playbook for next steps? What does DOJ, FBI do next in a case like this?
The feds are definitely heading this up. They've got the resources, they've got the technicians, they've got the analysts, because like I said, there's a voluminous amount of information that they're trying to pour through. And this photograph, I think, is just the tip of the iceberg of what we might find later. But they're pouring through, like you said, we have identified dozens and dozens of cameras in that area. There's also many cell towers in that area if you cast a wide enough geographic net as to the area that you'd be concerned with. One thing I'd like to share, though, is that I've been out to Nancy's house. It is incredibly rural, and so the entrance and egress from that neighborhood is not like a typical neighborhood. There's only a few ways in and out of that neighborhood. So yes, there are many cameras, but I think they can also very strategically focus their attention on certain cameras, and I'm hoping that that's what's yielding these results that we're going to soon see today.
The next step, I think, would be to catch all cell phone usage in the vicinity of the house at the time, and then to trace out from that. And I'm curious if there's any issues about that. Did you see any warrants applied for from judges for that kind of data? Because that's a huge data dump you need from the telephone companies. It's going to start expanding outward to trace any phone numbers that were in that vicinity and where they traveled to. Are you seeing any kind of public indication that that's what the FBI is now doing?
We have not seen warrants. It's likely that we won't for a while. But you're absolutely right that getting through those cell phone towers and trying to, cross-reference different towers when cell phones were in the area, figure out who those cell phone numbers all belong to, if those are people that belong in that area at that time of night or not. I mean, one thing that is working in their favor is when this crime took place in the middle of the night, you can narrow it down to certain people. So they're pouring through all of that. It's going to take time.
Josh Ritter, thank you. Well, big news developing this hour as we learn that there is a surveillance photo with, quote, a potential subject that will be released this afternoon. It could be released at any moment. More on that breaking news development next.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.